All right. Great morning, everyone. Grand Rising. Welcome to today's Breakfast Club call. I am super excited to be here with you guys. My name is Pamela Pacheco, and if you are just joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you are joining us again, welcome back. I remember when I first started on the journey of entrepreneurship, I was looking forward to these calls, not only for the information that I was going to receive, but for the inspiration that I was going to receive, because I've always been very aware that garbage in is garbage out, and greatness in is greatness out, and how you start your day sets the tone for our day. So today, what I want to talk about really quick is 3 keys to galvanize gradual gains. 3 keys to galvanize gradual gains. And the reason being is because many of us overvalue the immediate miracle and underestimate the gradual gain. And I find that not only in business, but in life. Has anybody ever found themselves, beating yourself up because you want to be further along than you are? If you could relate in the chat, type it in the chat if you can relate to what it is that I am saying. Yes, absolutely. See, and the reason is because we all just want to prosper, right? We all want to do better. We all know that we deserve better. We all know that there's greatness within us. We all know that there is better ahead. And it is important to just be aware that the root of the disappointment, right? The root of the disappointment really stems from being unmet expectations. And often in leadership, we can find ourselves stuck or just unsatisfied, where we are measuring our success on a timetable. And the truth of the matter is that if we want results, we must really redefine what that growth for ourselves and our teams actually looks like. We must take the time to really understand what it is that growth means, right? To really understand what it is that we are looking for, because when we really stop to think about it, if we want results, we must redefine for growth for ourselves and our teams. Because at the end of the day, growth is not an output of success, it is the input. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard this. I just really recently had seen this in Rick Ross. If you guys don't know, I was raised in Miami. Rick Ross is one of an artist that, from South Florida, but really he's just a great entrepreneur. He said, I don't want to move fast. I want to move correctly. And really and truly, it's because I'm not trying to grow fast. See, I'm trying to last. And the reality is that, have you ever had a lot of growth in anything in life, and then all of a sudden it's just gone? And the reality is, it's because, again, growth is not an output of success, it's the input. So what are 3 ways that we can galvanize our gradual gains? Number 1 is growing our gratitude. See, when was the last time that you celebrated day by day? When was the last time that you were just thankful, right? Something that I start each and every single day. I start my morning with gratitude. I start my morning with prayer. I start my morning with meditation, but just taking a moment to be grateful. And the reality is that gratitude, right? Being grateful for where you are, being grateful for what you have, makes room for what it is that you want, makes room for what it is that's to come. Because gratitude creates gateways. And as we become grateful, you also become humble. See, when you are grateful, and it's to saying, yes, you can have confidence, but understanding that humility matters. And humility is not thinking less of myself. Humility is thinking about myself less, because being grateful for what you have, being grateful for your team, being grateful for all of those things. If you can just type in the chat, what are some things that you are just grateful for this morning? What are some things that just happened that you're grateful for, whether it's today, whether it's yesterday, whether it's something that has to do with your faith, whether that's something that has to do with your family, whether it's something that has to do with your fitness, whether it's something that has to do with your fortune, whether it's something that has to do with your fun. What is something that you're grateful for? And being humble, again, is not thinking less of myself, but thinking about myself less. Does that make sense? Also, another way that you grow your gratitude is by being joyful, because joy is always a choice, and work is a joy, because I find purpose here, right? I find purpose in living a purpose-driven life. I find purpose in impacting and serving. And a lot of people are like, girl, if I'm on vacation, I'm definitely not going to be doing what it is that you're doing. Yes, Dee Dee says, I'm grateful for increase. A lot of you says you're grateful for so many different things, health and life and friends and family and secret and your health, and grateful for this community. Grateful for being retired, grateful, thankful for God's mercy and people in my life. Yes, keep on coming. Absolutely love all of these. And these are such great things that we can all be grateful for. Yes, Diana, waking up this morning, right? So again, gratitude creates gateways for growth. And the only thing that's more important than who you are today is who you're becoming tomorrow. If you're not careful, if we're all not careful, honestly speaking, you can start to think that your biggest problem is where you are. And in fact, our biggest problem is not where we are. Our biggest problem is where we are going. Because as we fix our focus on the future, we can easily discover that we have some gaps along the way, right? Can anybody relate to that? We have some gaps in our teams. It can be some gaps in resources. It can be some gaps in our personal leadership journey. It can be some gaps in our relationship. It can be some gaps in our mental health. It can be some gaps in our emotional intelligence. It can be so many different gaps in our business acumen. It can be some gaps in our social capital. So again, as we fix our focus on the future, don't just focus on where you're at, because where you're at is not the biggest problem, but really and truly is where we're going. So instead of letting the gaps depress us, instead of letting the gaps, take me out of the game, the gaps absolutely drive me to be more grateful for where I am today. The key to happiness is simply one word: progress. If I'm growing, I'm grateful. And I want us to all practice that. If I'm growing, I'm grateful. Here's another way that we can galvanize our gains. It's evaluating your environment. So do the people around you maximize or minimize? And when I was asked this, it was like, man, it's taking inventory. And it's not only taking inventory of where we are and where we're going, and started taking inventory of our businesses, our business partners, but also taking inventory of our family, taking inventory of what you're subscribing to on a daily basis. What channels are you tuning into? Are you shutting off social media the first and the last hour of every day? Are you just taking some time to be still? Are you going to the environments that are engineering your success? Are you going towards the people that are maximizing your potential, that are adding fuel to your fire? Do you realize that when you're around some people, they're draining you because they're minimizing you, or they're talking about your business and saying that little business? No, this is big business. This is big business energy, right? Don't come and tell me about this little business. No, it's having a big vision. But evaluating your environment is key, because if you're not being celebrated where you are and you're just being tolerated, you've already lost before you even started. And it's important that we just take the time to really evaluate your environment, evaluate the people that you have the most conversations with, evaluate the people that you're talking to on a daily basis, even on a weekly basis. Evaluate, are those people adding to you, or are they subtracting? See, and I'm not saying that, hey, your friend's not going to have a bad day, because truth be told, it's Murphy's Law, right? What can go wrong will go wrong on the wrong day. So we're all entitled to having a bad moment, having a bad episode, and even having a bad day. And if you need to take 24 hours and saying, hey, I need to completely separate myself, like I can't deal with this right now. I need some space to be still, to clear my mental health, for my emotional stability, whatever the case may be, you can do that. But evaluating your environment is key, because if, again, you're not being celebrated where you are and you're being tolerated, you've already lost. Now, if we're thinking about instead of saying, hey, I'm grateful for the people that are around me, I am grateful for the people that God has positioned in my life, I am grateful for the people that God has blessed me with. I'm grateful for the communities that I am serving. And it's saying, hey, I am open to meeting new people. I am open to being around people that are maximizing not only my potential, but that are maximizing my energy, that are helping me maximize on my talents, that are helping me maximize on my gifts, that are helping me maximize my life, that are helping me play full out. That it doesn't matter what outlandish idea I come with, they're genuinely happy. And you know what those type of people look like. You absolutely know what the conversations feel like. You absolutely can feel when somebody is genuinely celebrating you or if they're just tolerating you. Does that make sense? Awesome. Sorry about that, guys. The service is not the best here. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Positioning our perspective, number 3, is really the final way to galvanize gradual gains. And why do I say positioning your perspective? Because a lot of times we think something is a lot bigger than we're actually making it. And we spoke about this a little bit last week with just having clarity for what it is that you want to do and clarity for what it is that you want to go and being intentional and having the expectations. But when you're talking about positioning your perspective to galvanize your gradual gain, is asking yourself, is this insignificant or is this just small? Is this insignificant or is this just small? Because a lot of times we're thinking that something is insignificant when in reality it's small, right? It's a small piece of the puzzle, but that small piece of the puzzle, it's allowing you to have that gradual gain. It's allowing you to be the best version of yourself. It's allowing you one step closer. And I'm going to tell you, one of the ways that you can say, if I'm positioning my perspective, it's increasing also your confidence. And as we're talking about this, I'm going to give you a few cheat codes to doing that for your confidence. It's seeking clarity. See, because confusion, it breeds insecurity. So it's very easy for you to be having a small gradual gain and say, oh, this is and deem it insignificant just because of your level of confidence. And I'm going to tell you, confusion, it breeds insecurity. So whenever you are, struggling with any type of confidence or just beating yourself up about it, ask yourself, like, am I clear on what it is that I'm doing? Am I clear on what it is that I'm going? Because seeking clarity is absolutely essential for us to galvanize the gradual gains and for us to be grateful for where we're at, but even more expectant and grateful for where it is that we're going. And repeat regularly. That's another way that you can say, hey, you know what, is this something insignificant or is this something small? Because if you really want to say, how can I boost my confidence, repeat regularly what it is that you love to do. Repeat regularly, whether that is your presentations, whether that is you inviting, whether that is you becoming the best version of you. Your reputation is always based on your repetition. So a lot of people ask, how is it that no matter where you're at, or you always find time to serve our communities, or you're always finding time? Like, I've done 6 presentations in the time that I'm here. Granted, is that a lot? No, but I had conversations about the products. I had demos about the products. Why? Because it's like, I know when, no matter where I'm at in the world, when somebody's thinking of travel, I want them to think of me. When somebody is thinking of skincare, I want them to think of me. When somebody is thinking of lifestyle, I want them to think of me. And I understand that my reputation is always based on my repetition. So it doesn't matter where I'm at in the world. It doesn't matter what I am doing, right? I am going to always be talking about what it is that I do. I'm always going to be talking about the value that I'm offering, because I know how valuable not only our products are, but our community. Does that make sense? So if you ever find yourself tripping about anything and being like, okay, is this insignificant or is it really just small? Because a lot of times, if we're really being honest, it might just be something small that we're just throwing away because it's not as big as we want it to be. So we're saying, it's insignificant in this season. And when you're talking about, you saying if something is increasing that confidence, and if you're saying, hey, you know what, I need to change my perspective, it's taking action over and over and over again, because you'll never know until you go, right? You'll never know until you go. So next week we have training coming up. So on Thursday, I will be at Trainers Academy. So we will not be having our Breakfast Club call, but from now until then, ask yourself, do these things that I am talking about make sense? Do you see yourself growing your gratitude? Do you see yourself saying, hey, you know what? I am definitely evaluating my environment. I am positioning my perspective. Am I making sure? Because at the end of the day, I'm not trying to grow fast. I'm trying to last. And a lot of these things is your reputation. It's you making sure that you're having that confidence. It's you seeking the clarity, is you repeating regularly, because your reputation is based on your reputation, because you understand that unless you take action, unless you actually pick up your feet and go, you're not going to be able to ever know if you were capable of doing it. So when you're asking yourself, am I a confident leader or am I an insecure one? Because many of us have a skewed perspective on confidence. And we've been told confidence is cocky, or it's conceited, or being conceited. And this may be the case with the confidence we've tried to put on. But however, true confidence isn't a facade, right? True confidence is a fundamental aspect of leadership. And the more confident you are, the more aware you're going to be, the more happier you're going to be about where you're at, but even more so about where you're going, because your confidence is not just for you. Your confidence is for your team. And when you're talking about a confident leader is a clear leader. A confident leader is a convicted leader. A confident leader is a compassionate leader. And when you're asking yourself, okay, you know what barriers, ask yourself this week as you're walking into this new week, what barriers are blocking you from walking in confidence this week? Because insecurity is the entrance to comparison. So if you're asking yourself, hey, you know what? I have to reflect on this because, man, Pam is right. I need to galvanize the gradual gains. And ways that you do that is just growing your gratitude. Remembering that your gratitude creates gateways. Remembering that your gratitude is creating gateways for growth. That the only thing that's more important than who you are today, gracias, is who you're becoming tomorrow. If you're not careful, when you start to think that your biggest problem is where you are, but in fact, it's the biggest problem is not where we are. The biggest problem is where we are going. But when you're fixing your focus on the future, again, remember that yes, there may be some gaps along the way, but this does not mean that those gaps are not allowing you to grow. This does not mean that those gaps are not allowing you to be better. This does not mean that you are not getting better each and every single day. This does not mean that you stop being confident. Sorry about that, guys. But making sure that each and every single day, we're just grateful. We're grateful. We're growing our gratitude. We're understanding that we're taking inventory, right? You are making sure that you are evaluating your environment. And lastly, just positioning your perspective, because I'm not trying to grow fast. I'm trying to last. So this has been our Breakfast Club call for Thursday, February 16th, 2023. I hope you guys got value on this. I read each and every single one of your comments. If you guys got some value today, please make sure you guys are writing it in the chat. And I hope you guys have all an amazing weekend. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Continue to kill it, continue to conquer, and be proud of yourself. Be proud of where you're at. Be more expectant of where it is that you're going, but understand the best is yet to come. And knowing that when you own where it is that you're at, when you own where it is that you're going, nothing can stop you. No one can stop your God-given purpose. Nobody can stop the dreams that God put in your heart, because God put them in your heart for a reason, because he knows without a shadow of a doubt, he gave you each and every single capacity to achieve them. He gave you each and every single gift to make sure that they're able to come true. And a lot of times we just trip ourselves up of, man, I'm not where I want to be. But aren't we grateful that we're not where we used to be? Aren't we grateful that we're not who we used to be? Because Lord, listen, I'm just saying, if you knew me a year ago, if you knew me 6 months ago, and you haven't reintroduced yourself, you don't know me, right? Because we're growing each and every single day. So be grateful for where you're at, but even be more grateful for where it is that you're going. And that is such a great way for us to galvanize our gradual gains. So again, thank you guys for tuning in. Utmost blessings to each and every single one of you. Make sure you are registered for Playbook. It is going to be absolutely incredible. SecretDirectEvents.com. Grateful for each and every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. Blessings. And I look forward to seeing each and every single one of you guys next week. Great day and God bless. Thank you guys.